Welcome to CNC Underground, the podcast for people who live somewhere between G-code, production deadlines, and how the hell did that tool break again? On today's episode, we're going to dig into what it really looks like to grow in the industry, not by job hopping, but by mastering every role along the way. We'll talk programming, post-processors, custom automation, and flashier cam trends that just don't hold up on the shop floor. Today's guest is proof that hard work, curiosity, and a love for problem solving take you a long way. Welcome, Matthew Roderick from R&S Machining. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Good, of course. You have an incredible story going from a janitor all the way to a CTO, and we'll unpack that throughout the episode. But can you give me a high-level 60-second version?
Yeah, I started during high school, just cleaning out coolant tanks, over winter break when it's nice and warm outside in St. Louis, doing all the dirty work. Got into deburring parts, a little bit more trust, got into operating some of those parts, had some quick stints in assembly and quality. Got into more of a setup role once I was able to put in far more hours and also going to tech school over at Rankin, and just worked my way through the machining departments into programming. Um, then just started programming all of my own parts, doing the setups, proving it out, getting that experience, and worked into being a lead programmer to then having a team of programmers underneath me, and then kind of elevating up into more of a technology and automation role while still overseeing a lot of the programming operations.
No, that's great. What helped you or what motivated you to keep moving on rather than moving away from let me rephrase that, from moving up rather than moving on?
Yeah, so I've always been bought into this company. We've just grown exponentially. When I started, we were I should say, we owned half of a strip mall, and we're cramming machines in, just left and right, trying to make space and figure it out. And we've made two expansions, and two acquisitions of facilities since then. So the growth of the company has been incredible. The trust that they've given me has been, just out of this world. So they just keep giving more and more leash, and it's mine for the taking.
All right. So you've been at R&S Machining through your whole career then.
Yeah. Yep. From day one, and still here. Plan to be here as long as I possibly can be.
Yeah, I totally get that. I actually came from education, and I was a teacher before my first son was born. And I wanted the opportunity to stay home with him and have more flexibility. And I took a chance. And so I totally understand what you're saying and where you're coming from, because I'm getting the same from the company I'm with now. Um, they'll let you take ownership and run with it and do great things. And so it's always refreshing to have really good leadership. And so those are the companies that people want to stick with.
Yeah, absolutely. They make it to where, you don't want to leave. And
Yeah, I see the same thing too, and I push this a lot on LinkedIn, that you want to invest in your team, and that's how you keep good people. So it sounds like we're both lucky to have those opportunities, and it would be silly to go somewhere else and start over, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, if you have a good company culture and the company is doing things actively to try to make it better and just keep just moving the needle on that, write it out, I mean, there's so many companies that are stuck in time or just don't put an emphasis on that or don't care. If you have one that's at least making an effort, it's worth seeing through.
100%. I couldn't agree more. I want to dig into a little bit about the post processors, right? Because you guys do them in-house. That's not really something that is heard of. So can you tell me about that?
It's definitely unique and special. I'd say it's probably about six years ago. Before we did our biggest expansion into our third facility, we invested in a lot of large manufacturing equipment. So some big gantries, up to 8 years from length, and there were some demands for some of the current programs out there that just were not going to be satisfactory with the current like status quo around the box processors. So we just took it upon ourselves and said, you know what, if we can build them ourselves and make everything tailored specifically to what we need, there's no competition to that. So there's been a lot of instances where we've had some bigger parts that other places, wouldn't be able to do in the size of equipment that we had at that time. But because we were able to so heavily customize and modify it, it's supposed to really just, control every singular bit that's coming out of it, we were able to get it done. And doing those things propelled us to winning more production orders and follow-on orders for that work. So as we've been going, we've built every one of them ourselves since then, and they've worked out really well. And it's also nice that whenever you had an issue or you want to do something maybe a little bit different, you just take 30 minutes or an hour and make the change and move forward. You don't have to send it off and have someone who's not like in tune or intimate with your shop or the situation that's going on, having you figure it out and send a couple edits back and forth. And then, a few days later, you got your answer. It's just quick solutions to get to the end result.
Yeah, that's such a great skill to have because, I could never figure out a post processor. It took me years to figure out what the heck one did. So to be able to build them is wild. And then you don't have to wait on anyone. Like you said, jumping in 30 minutes to an hour, you can fix what you need to. You don't have to wait on anybody. That's such a critical skill.
Yeah. And if we get a new piece of equipment, we're typically like, after install, you usually have a few days of applications, with the builder. We're proving our post processor out and running a part before they're even gone. It's typically, we have our first part off that brand new machine. Could be a brand new control we've never even had in under 72 hours. So it's pretty awesome. Plus, then while you're there with the applications guys who are doing it every day with that machine builder control, you get their little tips and tricks and kind of embed that in as well, since you're doing it on fly. And you end up with like a super experienced, robust post right out of the gate.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. And I bet everybody at the shop is very thankful for that too. Just making whatever edit that you need.
Yeah, it's awesome. And machines, they have their technological points in time where, now machines, people have some older ones and they're adding probes to them or adding tool setters to them. And, they're capable, but, they just had a generic 3-axis post before, and now they want to use probing or use the touch setter, and those functions wouldn't be there. So they'd have to send out and probably pay thousands of dollars to have edits made to it. And, we don't have to do that. It's great.
Yeah, I see that too, and people will have bad posts and they just deal with it and manually edit G code every time. And it's like, you don't have to do that. There are ways around having to do that. So I know, I can't imagine. So they're lucky to have you guys figuring that all out for them. Definitely. Then you told me about a machine monitoring system.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that? And you want to go to market with it, right?
Yeah, potentially that was always the ultimate goal. A few years back, we just we decided that in today's era, if you are not getting into this heavy automation and heavy technological systems that are out there, like, it's very cliche. Everyone said on using AI, blah blah blah, and that's great. The truth of it is, like, if you aren't already leveraging the AI, not just using it, you're already behind. So we decided that we needed to know exactly what was going on our shop floor, not just while we're here, from anywhere in the world at our fingertips. We know the health of it, if there's maintenance, what's running, what's not, what we're getting accomplished, and move forward. So we built our own custom monitoring software. I should say, it's how it started. And we are currently tracking all of our equipment on how much it's running, what our spindle hours are, the top errors per, whatever time period you want, week, month, days. And we're able to project out, maintenance. Maybe your certain machine departments or cells are having lots of tool breakages where you can talk to your programming department. Hey, on these machines, this approach isn't working. And at, just your fingertips, be able to see aerial views of your shop floor with indicator lights of, is it running? Is it idle? Is it stopped? And when their status is changed, it's texting operators, texting foremen. Hey, this machine stopped. This machine produces scrap mark. Just to really leverage the uptime, because it's so important in today's world. There's so much work out there. There's not enough machines, there's not enough shops. So you have to utilize as much as you can. So it started with that. There were like some out of the box solutions we could have met with, but most of them were like really simple, just like on or off, or they were very like Schrammel held down to a specific controller. Whereas our application is working on any style of control at one, and it's all integrated into one system, and then also migrated into our ERP system, to where we can track it that way as well. But that was the dream, and it's kind of come true. And we did have ambitions to one day start maybe a solutions division or just side of the company and offer this product out to other shops that might be interested. It's great. I mean, the idea at a root level came from, we really focused on unattended runtime. And, it was the worst thing when you load up a job and go home and need it to be done the next day and it wasn't when you came in, or you're like, hey, I'm gonna swing by before dinner and go load up some parts, and there's a tool break or low coolant there, oh, I forgot it on op stop, something that happens to every one of us. And now you'll know if you need to watch that machine, load it up, turn on your alerts for that time period or whatever you want, and it'll just text you, hey, your machine went from running to idle, or just blip on your phone, is it running or not? And you can be way more proactive and get way more eyes into the right kind of product.
Yeah, and I mean, there really is such a push for AI, and I always say, like you said, you don't want to wait until all of it's completely ready to go, has every capability that you need. Like, you need to get in now and start implementing it so you can make the transition, especially with the push for lights out manufacturing. And that sounds kind of what you guys are headed towards.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're getting really close. We're about 2 years into the project now, kind of on and off doing some other little things as well. But we are, we've deployed. We're into the testing phase out on the floor, getting feedback, making small adjustments, and it's making a big difference. You don't realize how far metrics can truly go until you actually have solid metrics that you use. But just having that data of knowing, hey, this one facility is only running at 40-50% utilization, we got to get these numbers up, and that data is proven. I mean, it is literally to the second of what that spindles returning. You just get better. You have to, because a lot of places think they're running machines a lot more than they really are.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it would just be interesting to have companies evaluate that and see, how much are we actually using of the uptime that we could use.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some people when you guys are ready. I know some people that need that.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be amazing. We're excited to get it out there, and it could be used for business cases as well. You might really think that this horizontal cell you have or something is really running a lot, and come to find out it's not. And maybe you got a big package that they're quoting or something, and you decide, no, we just need to run the machines we have more. We don't need to go invest in $500,000 piece of equipment. We just need to run more. Or maybe it's a use case for let's add a second shift or add a couple more operators, get more utilization rather than getting another piece of equipment.
I see that too. People think sometimes that you just need more equipment, you need better equipment, you need to spend all of this money. And really, like, I think you're a case of it. Invest in your people, because that really can benefit you more than anything. Because look at what you guys are developing. That's so huge. And just an advocacy for investing in your people, I think, further and keeping them on. And I mean, that's fantastic. That goes with, I mean, there's AI for quoting, there's like Cam Assist software now, and inventory. Do you see that fitting in with those? Or is it in conjunction?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. To an extent, for sure. I mean, our ambitions of this go way farther beyond what they even are at the moment. Um, it's gonna at its end game, we want it to touch essentially admin level. We want it to factor into data collection, into inventory. We want it to be a central hub that, in a way, companies, when they mess in an ERP system, that's kind of becomes their central hub. But the more you get into it, you can kind of realize that the ERP system might just be a branch. And if you have like your ISO management and your ERP, your district management, the machine monitoring, all these different utilities or branches that come off of this one hub that links them all together, that's what power is. You're integrating it all together and having like one nucleus driving your company.
Yeah. Wow. That's insane. Like, you mentioned it to me, but I didn't know the extent of it. And that's just a really impressive system. You guys should be proud of that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's come a long way, and it's got a lot farther to go. Our software developer is definitely busy. Where's Nate?
What would you say then to people? Because I think the biggest concern with AI right now is people think it's coming for their jobs. So what would advice, or what would you say to someone who's worried about that?
The way that we view like AI and automation is it's not coming for anybody's job. Uh, it is used to be an aid to enhance your job. So like, sure, there's a world where AI agents could come in and take over some finance roles, some secretariat roles, things like that. I mean, anything really automated. I mean, programming at one point in time could become fully automated. It really could be. There's always going to be that human touch, that human intuition for making parts that AI can't do, at least today. But it's definitely to enhance their job. When you look at automation on the floor, we have tons of FMS systems, pallet systems, bar feeders, robot arms, because we leverage that on its end of time. Our third shift is fully roboted. But it's in no way replaced any people at all, and it won't. We don't want someone to have to stand there all day long and load parts. Let the robot arm do that, and let's leverage that person for what they're good at: critical thinking, setting up, and using their skills more effectively. And I mean, at least I know from my time on the floor, I didn't want to just stand there and just load, hundreds of this one thing over and over again. I'd rather go get the next tool package set up and start working on the next setup on a new machine while the robot or the pallet system is running that job. It's use people for their brains and what they're good at, and let the labor and the lifting be done to automation.
I totally agree. I like the human touch, the interactive. There are things I think that we'll always be able to do a little bit better. So that makes a lot of sense. And I also don't think AI is coming for anyone's job, but it is a worry, I think, that's natural that people are feeling. But I think that the work you guys are doing is a testament to leadership from what I'm hearing. So kudos to you guys on all of that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, at the end of the day, the AI needs someone to prompt it. So it's never today, who knows where we'll be in a few years saying, oh, so
We see that now, right?
Yeah, pretty soon it'll be thinking for itself. But as of right now, we still have the prompt to get that result.
You do. This is true. This is true. That's a good point. Do you have any examples of how the monitoring system has helped out?
The main focus, I'd say, has been on overall utilization. Because we're in development on a alerting system, but mainly it's been like just detailed, intricate reports on or really just all the facets of the machine, whether it's maintenance, errors, how many parts are we getting off, spindle hours, and encompassing that into a time frame, and then being able to say like, we thought that this 5-axis cell was running 80% utilization, and we thought it was at the top end there, but really it was at 42%, and it's like, why? And you kind of dive down into it and find out, oh, maybe it takes too long to get tool packages set up or that. So then you add a different facets of the company to speed up setups or modify it most where it touches off all your tools, or you have to stand there and do that. Just different things to increase, and small percentage increases to a lot of different areas makes a huge impact. A lot of people will look for like the 10%, 15% home run improvement, but you don't need to do that. Or you could just get 1, 2, 3% in a handful of areas, and it magnifies a lot farther than that one spot.
So it sounds like you guys have been able to figure out where the machine time difference has been.
Yeah, it's really helped to diagnose some root causes, how we can and pack solid metrics to back things up or like lean on is just so useful. Because you can measure. You look at it and you're like, oh, we need to get another 8-10% out of this cell, and you make an adjustment. Well, you can measure that. It's not just speculation of, oh, the lights are on more than I think they were the previous month. It's it's actual data, to the second.
That's cool. And then obviously been able to improve it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is time for one of our reoccurring segments. If you remember from our last episode with co-host Christina, her favorite, Machine Shop Confessions, where you send us anonymous stories and we don't tell your boss. So I have one that came in. It's a good one. He says, I once spent 2 hours chasing down a mysterious Z-axis, only to find out the issue was the part was clamped upside down. I blamed the intern, but I knew it was me because, in fact, the intern quit last week. I mean, I don't know where we go from there with that one, but at least they found it. If only. It makes you think about the monitoring system and like, if only, right?
I cannot. We've all been there where you just learn something completely wrong, and it's just
It was a Monday, maybe.
yeah. Usually it's one of the situations you're doing, and you're just like, oh, let's hope it saw that. He tried to fix it real quick and move on. Hopefully, run the part first upside down.
Oh, right. Thank goodness. Hopefully they found it. Well, you can send your anonymous stories to us and we will share them. And again, I won't tell your boss. So let's move into talking about cam culture, internet tool paths, and all of the fancy stuff that we see online. What's missing, do you think, from cam conversations online?
I think that the conversations that are there are fantastic. The awareness that some of these like bigger YouTube channels and whatnot are bringing to the industry is incredible. Like, I commend that. It's awesome. They're doing everything they can to bring just popularity back to the industry. Too many people think that this is like blacksmith work. It's just not. It's it's super cool, but I'd say like the difficult thing is you see these videos, these conversations online, and they are enticing and they draw your attention or captivating, but that's what they are. It's kind of like engagement farming in a way.
No.
A lot of those practices would never work in the real world. And it becomes an issue for some of the shops when you get some of these guys that go through these online programs and see these crazy things. I ran this tool with no coolant at 2,000 inches a minute, and look at that, it made it 4 inches before it exploded. And it's just like when they try to do that, and you got to kind of deprogram those habits they'd lurk online out of them, it can be tough. I would say don't believe everything you see online, which I think goes for a lot more than just machining.
Of course.
But I say the most negative thing about it is the engagement farming aspect. But I do understand, like, it's for popularity. I do get that. It's just a lot of the practices aren't relevant in the real world, or they're just not practical. Like, yeah, you have a 5-axis machine and that's cool, but like you can just position and surface that feature on. Like, you don't need to have all 5 axes spinning at the max revolutions per minute of the machine to accomplish this feature. Like, yeah, it looks cool, but you're just wearing out your machine is all you're doing. There's really no reason for it.
Yeah, and I think I see a lot of it too, and it's cool, it's flashy. I think you're right. It is making the industry interesting, but the industry is interesting on its own because if you really start to learn about what happens behind the scenes, what happens on the shop floor, I mean, before I got into this, I had no clue. I was like, what's that? That's a trade. I don't know anything about trades.
Yeah.
And there's a push for trades now, and I could never program. The knowledge it takes, the skill level, the patience, the critical thinking, all of that goes into it. All of those jobs on the shop floor. I mean, I think we need to focus on educating and showing shops how to run more efficiently, and that will help the manufacturing industry too. So I do think it has a place, but maybe should come with a disclaimer.
Yeah.
My niece at home.
And we've had some guys from third year, and they went through some of those like cabins online and whatnot, and maybe they're at like a local technical high school, and then we push them, hey, you should go to one of the local tech schools around here and continue your education. If you do that, we'll obviously set up like apprenticeship program, internship, buy into you. And they get there and they're like, why am I on like a manual sheet? And they'll come back in, they'll come in for their shift at night or, whenever their schedule is. And they're almost like disappointed sometimes. And it's like, this is the basis of it. These are the fundamentals that you have to know to be able to do the cool stuff. But online, all you see is the cool stuff. But
Oh, absolutely. I have been selling CAM software for a few years, but I took CNC courses recently because I was like, I'm not that helpful to people if I don't know what they're talking about.
yeah,
Well, it's totally, and I sell CAM software, but these courses were just CNC based because you're right. Like, you need to get into the basics and understand how these things operate, or you're not going to know what anybody actually needs.
it's so true. And I mean, it goes beyond like employment level. What you just said there is mainly thing this. We do a lot of aerospace work for the OCX, and we're going back like 20 years ago or so. But the big OEMs used to send all their buyers to tech school because they wanted them to understand and know what it was that they were actually buying. And today, it's just they see higher. They have no idea even what an aircraft part like is beyond it being an aircraft part. They don't know what goes into it to make it So it does get frustrating that it's kind of tough to say, but it's like the industry, the personnel in the industry outside of the shop floor has kind of gotten dumbed down a little bit, and they're not as involved as they should be.
I think if they were, some of these customers probably wouldn't con you as much to get that part done.
Because it's not always as easy as just a part number on a paper. Like it doesn't, the real world doesn't work that way. Just like the real world doesn't run cutters at 2,000 inches a minute till they explode and you get a new one. I need a quick way to get a write-up.
Someone's gonna send me that in an anonymous machine shop confession now.
Probably.
No, what was I gonna say? That a hot topic that we hear a lot about is how CAM in shops they think is dumbing people down. In G code specifically, and that's a topic that we talk to people a lot about, is do you still need to know G code even if you know CAM? And what's the importance of knowing both? And in a world that is becoming so automated, like, and we need to be more efficient, we want lights out manufacturing, like CAM is critical now. But that doesn't make a G code any less important. It's still so critical.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you don't know your G code at a basic level, you're going to struggle. Like, I know a lot of guys that are very proficient in TM softwares, but they can't read G code. And it's the programming process is like half the battle. You know, that's virtual. It's not real. It's just what happens on your computer. And we part show up all green and good on the computer screen or simulate through Vericuts where there's no errors. Like you're good at software.
Yeah.
Then when you go to run it and it becomes a reality and there's issues, if you don't know how to read your G code and troubleshoot on the floor, you are that's a problem. It's like, that's one of those basic things. And it is kind of frustrating when you go down and you're like, to solve an issue and like, it's staring you right in the face. It's telling you right here, like, yeah, what you did, it says it right here. It's this line. And they don't know what that line is or means. Yeah, you should be able to just walk through that program line by line. If you want to, be as good a programmer as possibly be. Because it goes far beyond the CAM system.
Yeah, too many times I think that people think CAM is just the shortcut and it'll do all the work for them, but it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. And there's bound to be errors still in post-processors, in even as digital twins or machine sim models. Like, you're going to come across issues. And I think to be a valuable utility player, yeah, you should definitely focus and start from the ground up.
Yeah, it'll go a long way. Honestly, probably one of the best course or best semesters that I had at technical school was just G code handwriting every program. And I'm a believer that you should handwrite like literally everything. Sure, you can use subroutines and lap cycles and whatnot, but I think out of the gate, you need to write it all and just have that long program and then have that, starting point and then realize like, hey, I can use a subroutine and I can shrink this up. And then kind of move into the CAM system. That way, when it's posted, you can puzzle through that code and you can understand what it's doing, why it's doing what it's doing, and just be able to troubleshoot. If you can go out and for a programmer and you can genuinely troubleshoot, you're going to gain a lot of trust from your sub machines too, because there's the age-old battle of like the programmer's right or the guy on the floor is right. And, a machinist or programmer, they will go till the end of time.
It really will.
Well, if you can go out there, you can walk it through line by line and prove that it is right and this is why it did what it did. They're going to start believing you and they're going to start double checking their stuff first before they come ask you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. We've seen that battle programmer versus machinist. We've also seen mill versus lathe. Have you come across that one? I talked about that last week.
This is one that I just don't understand. So that's another one of those age-old battles. It would be mill versus lathe. And my stance is neither one is more important than the other. Lathe and mill are equal, and you can use some wicked cool stuff in the lathe, and you can cut so fast. I've never understood the whole like guys feeling like they're not valued or they're not important because they're on the lathe instead of the mill. It's just not true. But there is definitely a shortage of lathe or turning machinists out as in this pool. It is just difficult to get guys who want to commit and be career lathe guys. It's typically like start people there, because it is 2-axis. It's usually you can handwrite, you're very under control. It's a great place to start, but that's what it ends up being. You're there for a year or two, and then they issue that ultimatum of like, move me to the mill or I'm going somewhere else. And I just don't do it.
I hear that. I mean, I swear, I have people call me weekly and they're like, do you know of a lathe programmer? And I'm like, I don't, because everyone's having the same issue. And we're selling a lot more posts for Swiss, MTM. Like, the market is huge right now. And so people need to focus on it more. I mean, you could really make a living focusing on lathe and Swiss specifically.
Absolutely. We have a Swiss department, and it, obviously we have guys that pop over there, but we've been looking for a long time for a dedicated Swiss machinist.
Mm-hmm.
It's just difficult. Yeah, the whole turning side of the machine industry is very low on peaking. Yeah, if you're a person out there that wants to make a lot of money and have complete career stability,
Yeah.
machining itself is a solid one. But yeah, if you get into turning within it, yeah, go to the lathe. You'll house bot almost anywhere.
So you heard it here. One is not better than the other, but we need lathe machinists, lathe programmers. We need them all. I hope that they think about that in tech schools too. I wonder if they're aware of the push for it, because maybe it does need to start more at the tech school or the high school level. Really,
I didn't need to start at the high school level. I mean, hopefully it's changing a little bit now, but I mean, I know when I went through high school, it wasn't even like discussed to go into a trade school. It was just, so like, what university are you going to? And that definitely impacted this massive shortage we're having in the trades. It's definitely an issue. Like, the trades might not be as pretty or cushion of a job as other things, but you will have career stability forever, and you'll probably make as much money, if not more. If you definitely more if you choose to.
I've talked about that a lot because we're having 18-year-olds and say, this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Pick now. Pick today, and then you're going to do that for the next 50 years. And that to me is wild. And so I'm glad that the push for four-year universities is becoming a little less, and we're coming back to the trades, because you get more flexibility in the trades. It's a lower investment out the gate. There's more job opportunities and differentiated things that you can do along the way. You can move up into different roles, similar, I think, to how you have with all the different roles that you've held. And like, my degree was in education. Well, I can be a teacher with that, and I'm not doing that anymore. But I had to decide then and there what I was going to do. And then the massive debt that comes with it, that the trades is just so smart. It's such a smart move for so many people. And I hope that young people see that. I hope that women see that. and that there's just so much room to grow and so many more things you can do. And really the stability for your career, the opportunity is so big when people go into the trades.
It really is. I mean, and not only that, there's it's a shorter schooling to get
Yes.
results. I mean, typically you're looking at like 2 years and you're out working full time. And sure, you don't get the glorified party scene and things like that, like some of your friends probably will. But I mean, a lot of my friends were in school partying, and I already owned my own house and was making, a full yearly salary.
And
It it might seem great to go get that business degree or whatever. And certainly if that's what you want to do, go for it.
absolutely.
You can always continue your education on top of your trade school as well. I got my machining degree, and then I continued on and got a business degree as well. And so it's not like you can't do both. I did both at the same time. So you get both sides of it. But if people don't realize, like, you can go to school for 4 or 5 years. A lot of people are on the 5-year plan and come out and move back in with your parents or get the to the apartment today and then have to go find a job to make $50,000-$60,000 a year. Or you can go into a trade and in 2 years, you'll be working part-time while you're there for sure. And have a full-time job making 60 plus probably. And probably already had a house you moved in, this and that, if you choose to, before your friends or your house sold.
Yeah, there's such a well, at least when I was in school, there was such a stigma about it. It was like, oh, you're going to technical school versus the university. And now I look back and I'm like, what the heck? Like, what was bad about that? Those people were smart.
Yeah.
They don't have the load of debt. They didn't spend this much time, and then yeah, half of them do have to move back home. And so I mean, I totally agree. And there is a place, we need both. We need people to go to universities. But we also do need people to go to trade school. So I think it does start in high school. We have to give kids the opportunity to learn about it, and then, let them make their decision of how they want to move forward. But the flexibility, undying. I just will always think it's such a great idea to get some sort of technical background.
It really is. It really is. Especially getting into machine.
There you go, right? Well, we'll push that. So shifting gears a little more personal. You're a new dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, I got a little 8-month-old boy at home. Yeah, he's absolutely amazing.
They're the best.
It's
Ice cream, right? I have 3. They're not little. Well, they're little, but they're not babies anymore. And there's nothing like it. Your world changes, but I mean, seeing them, and you're in the phase of like seeing them do their first things.
Yeah, that is probably the coolest thing, is seeing them, discover the world for themselves and yeah, just learn new things and then be so excited about it. Yeah, oh yeah. Like, it just seems it's so goofy. You're like, oh my God, you're like recording them like sit up on their own and this and that. You're like, it's just sitting. But it's just so cool seeing them do it for the first time. Yeah, just learning. It's like the whole adventure restarts.
I know. My
Are living through them. And
I have a 6-year-old, and he just lost his first tooth. So then I went back through all of my photos, and I was like, oh, this is when you got that first tooth. And like, I'm like sitting there like, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I lost a tooth. And now like I look at, and he told me his tooth was loose, or he said it hurt. And I was like, oh, your tooth is loose. And I called his dad and I called his grandparents, and I was like, he has a loose tooth. And it was like the biggest like celebration. And so you get excited about these teeny tiny things, but like, I mean, why not? It's huge. No, huge news. Not shop floor news, but like it's a whole different world.
it is. Your whole world changes, and
Yeah.
yeah, every aspect changes. It's a lot of fun.
So do you see any overlap between being a new dad and leading a team?
Oh, I think you kind of see like how you so the way that you lead, obviously there's so many different types of leadership styles. Um, you kind of some guys, you want to be nice, you're maybe a little bit charismatic. And when you go to teach, it's a little different. I mean, obviously you're deal with a baby. But you you start kind of coaching the baby a little bit of like, all right, come on, let's use this little walker. Like, here, let me help you. And yeah, you're helping people during the day at work, and you're helping baby at home, helping the wife, of course, that she's got tons of new responsibilities with the baby at home. But I think overall, having a baby, you maybe get a little nicer.
Yes.
Um, yeah,
I think that's a good way to put it.
yeah. And overall, you probably become a little bit more kind, a little bit nice.
A little more understanding and patient, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a lot more patience.
Yeah.
Sometimes the patience might be a little thin, depending on what you're dealing with at home. But yeah, you gotta try to separate the best you can.
Wait till potty training, and then you tell me how your patience is.
Oh, I can't. Man, the patience during the tough sleep time is.
I will forever say the hardest part of parenting. I mean, my oldest is 6, but so far, but the hardest part is potty training. No one can prepare you for it mentally. So
I can only imagine.
so hard. So you lead at your job, and then you go home and you're a new dad and have to help out. So what is your go-to way to recharge?
And so I'm definitely a big sports fan. I really like going to San Diego Cardinals baseball games. If anyone asks me to go to a game, I'm gonna push to go. That's for sure. I also we have our new, well, not necessarily the newest thing in the world anymore, but our city soccer team in the MLS. I love going to those games as well. So I'd say I like going to sporting events and just watching some games and hang out. Go out with some friends and get a good dinner, have a few drinks. And then there's always the nights where you just want to sit down and just watch some Netflix and just it and just exist, just kind of melt away for a few hours before you go to bed. But yeah, you definitely need to savor the relaxed time that you get. You have stop, and then you go home and have the newborn baby as well.
Yes. Yeah.
There's not a ton of relaxing.
No, there's not a ton of sleeping either.
No, no.
But we survived. And it's worth. Yes. So sports, football. Are you into football?
Not really. No, I'll play some fantasy football just because it'll make me watch games. But not really. More a huge baseball fan, huge soccer fan. Those are the main.
Those are sports that my kids are into. And I didn't know much about either of them. So I'm learning along the way about those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a football fan, and recently, actually, the WNBA has caught my attention. I think it has to do with all of the hype that's around it right now. You got like Caitlin Clark and Sophie and all of these people, and so you got. I almost feel like I have to watch it because they have fist fights on the court. I mean,
It is amazing how the WNBA has just exploded. I mean but it's awesome. I mean, it's for the pro for all the players, all the young girls that dream of being a basketball player.
yeah,
That dream is a lot more prominent now. Yeah, it's looking a lot more luxurious, especially with their pay going up and things like that. List is being more relevant. It's been phenomenal. But yeah, for Kate was games.
yeah, of course.
honestly, all sports. It's got blood into everything.
It's a good way to, relax, to connect with people, and so sports are just great.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. One more segment for you. And this one I'm going to ask you some questions.
All right.
All right. All right. It is time for my favorite segment, forgivable or fireable. I'll throw out some shop floor situations and you tell me, are they forgivable or are they out? Okay. Scenario 1. Someone flung a rag across the shop.
Cerebral.
I think so too. That's an easy one. Someone renamed all the tools in the library to video game characters.
Oof. That'd be fireable. We have like thousands of tools in our library, so.
Are you? How many Marios can you have?
Yeah.
All right. They reposted without checking tool lengths and crashed a spin.
I'm gonna say it's the first time. It's forgivable.
Fair.
The second time it's fireable.
Fair. That is fair. One more. Edited a verified post and didn't tell anyone.
That's fireable. Yeah, for sure. I think that the post is way more magnified than a singular program.
Chills.
Yeah, the ramifications should be huge.
Thanks. Thanks for playing along with me. I like those. That was fun. All right. So let's see. Hang on. I'm going to do that part. So we're just about out of time. So where can people find you? R&S Machining, social media, anything you want to share with the listeners?
Yeah, my email is on R&S Machining website, so you can always go to the contact page and find us there and reach out. I LinkedIn under my name, Matthew Roderick. I also am attached to the R&S Machining page, so messages through there could be directed to me or could find me. I'm on Instagram. It's more, personal, not work related, but yeah. And we do have some training out there, if anyone we programmed with Siemens NX. So if anyone out there is interested in getting into it or looking for tips, training, we do have a YouTube channel, NX Training Lab, that fairly soon we'll be putting some more videos up there, more post-processor related. But there's a pretty extensive library out there for training and help. So do you want to sharpen up your skills, freshen up, maybe find some new ways to do things, check those out, subscribe.
Yeah. Very cool.
I never really understood the whole like and subscribe thing until you start doing it, and then you're like, wow, it's super important to let us keep doing this. So yeah, if you find it useful, subscribe.
I tell you what, my son watches YouTube, and the way that they try to get people to like and subscribe on there is wild. They're like, the last one I heard was 80% of you can't click subscribe in 3 seconds. And he's like, Mom, and I'm like, no, that's not, you don't have to click it. He's lying to you.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, we do want you to like and subscribe. I'm just not going to time you.
Yeah, we don't push it on any of our videos. This is more educational. We use it internally, and what, might as well put in public to help out anybody else.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? We want to help educate. We want to open cam conversations more and just make it more relevant because it's so powerful and so important.
It really is.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed learning a lot about you, but specifically, I really enjoyed learning about your monitoring system. I'm excited about what's to come for you and with that. And I hope to hear more as it continues to grow and you guys put it out. So that's really exciting. I think just some lessons that other people can learn is R&S machining leadership, how you invest in your team and your people, and just really great example of how other companies can lead as well and promote the trades continually.
Yeah, no, I greatly appreciate having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Good.
Yeah, anyone who ever wants to reach out, please do so. Love to stay connected and
Yeah.
again in the future. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you again so much. So for now, program smart, simulate twice, and if it crashes, blame the setup guy. I think we'll see you in the underground.